Let's see what happens.
Can anyone hear us? Is anyone out there? Oh my gosh. I'm checking my phone.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm messing around with some stuff here, so hopefully. Wait. Oh, we're up. We're live. It looks like it's working.
Yeah.
I think. Hopefully, people can see us. Some confirmation would be amazing if anybody can see us.
Yo, anybody in the chat? What up?
First time live on YouTube. Hopefully, it's working. That would be
Let us
lovely.
know you're here.
Yeah, we would love to hear from you if you're here. It looked like maybe one or two people might have been hanging out. So we'll see. We'll see if it's working. It also, Deeb, I don't know if it was just my computer, but it looks like it might be a little bit behind. So there
Oh,
might be some latency stuff just because YouTube's a little different than Twitch. But it does say we're live on my phone. So I believe that we're
yeah.
working. I believe everything's working here.
Okay.
And that's exciting
Sweet.
stuff because this is obviously it's our first time ever live streaming on YouTube. And it's the first time the podcast has ever gone live as well. So again,
Yeah.
if anyone is out there, we'd love to hear from you and let us know if this is coming through. Okay.
Yo, I see it.
Yo,
I see a chat from Mr. Greenbones. What's up, man?
what's up, Bones? Hey, does this sound okay, man? Obviously, we're first time doing this, dude. How's it going? And thank you for being here.
Yo, yo, yo. Um, yeah. So, we're gonna do this podcast live, a little bit different from maybe what you've seen in the past, but it's gonna have, some similar things to it than maybe what you've seen in the past. So we're not straying too far from our brand, but we wanted to make it a little more interactive with you all too. And we may do some gaming. We'll see. 'Cause the games are kind of laggy, so if we get to that, but
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
hoping that
let's.
it
I
works
mean,
out. We got some stick talk in mind. If it works, we'll see. We did a quick little test run, and I don't know if anyone here, Bones, have you ever played Madden on the PC? It seemed like the buttons would just randomly stop working occasionally. So we're trying to figure that out. But yeah, either way, we're gonna have a good show tonight. Deep, do you want to give it like the traditional intro? I mean, we don't got to play the video right now, but do you want to do like
yeah.
the traditional intro and then we can just jump in?
Yeah, so welcome everybody to the Single Barrel Sports Podcast. This is episode number 26, and my name is Deeb.
My name is Scott. Happy to be here.
Let's do this, friends. So roll the intro video, that's usually what we would do. But
Dun 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 dun. Yeah, you know.
we don't have any special effects tonight, so we're gonna have to make up some special effects, or some people can make them for us in the crowd.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, we are live, and so we don't got the intro video. I guess we could have. We'll figure that out. We'll implement that. However, it is episode 26. Welcome to the show. If you're attending live, feel free to interact with us. We will try to address questions or comments in the chat. We're just thankful that you're here. But we always start off these shows with just kind of catching up with one another. So if you guys have never seen a full length episode before, Deeb and I used to live near each other. We used to work with each other. We've known each other for quite a while now, over probably like 12 years or so.
Yeah.
And I recently moved away for a new job. So podcasting, talking sports has been a way for us to keep in touch and to kind of connect a few things that we both had interest in. And so that's what we're doing here. And we got a show tonight. We're going to talk about a handful of things, but we typically kind of kick things off just checking in on each other. So D, what's new in your life, man? How's it going?
Things have been going pretty well. I just pulled up the stream, so now I can see that we are live. So, and I see Mr. Greenboat saying hi. Everything sounds and looks good, and he said he has Game Pass version, but um, not really put of mutt. LOL.
Very yeah,
Um,
Madden Ultimate Team. Okay.
yeah. Okay, Madden. Okay, I was gonna say that stands for something. But no, man, things have been going pretty well. Generally speaking. So we actually had our final morning lift for football for quote unquote like winter/spring. And so this week we have off. So the kids have final exams. And then next week starts the actual like legit off season. So we get into, like actually doing lifting with the entire team and start talking about defense. And they have 7-on-7s and all. So I'm really looking forward to being involved in that. And yeah, it's just kind of exciting. And then in a couple weeks, my cousin Eli and his fiance are getting married here in Michigan. where we live, and so that'll be another exciting thing that brings a bunch of people here, including my parents and some of my family. So I'm looking forward to that.
Hell yeah, man. That's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of stuff to look forward to, dude. So congrats on all of that. I bet it's exciting that football season is getting close. I know I'm a little envious. I definitely want to get into coaching at some point, and I know we've talked about that before on the podcast, but very cool that that's in your near future. Definitely something I'm excited about. Yeah, big congrats to Eli, Mr. Greenbone said, and I echo that. I know you got a lot going on with family and life, and all sounds like pretty good stuff, dude.
Yeah, and thanks, Mr. Greenbones. I'll tell Eli you said congrats if he's watching. Maybe he's watching.
Yeah,
I think he's doing
he might
wedding
pop
stuff
in.
though. I think he's doing wedding stuff. I was on the phone with him before we started this. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, what's going on with you?
Well, we had a little impromptu trip to Ohio this weekend. There was a loss in the family, so we went up to Ohio to do a celebration of life. I know a lot of times I've just been calling it a funeral because that's just like more of a, of a general term for it. But we were actually like outside with a bunch of people just gathering and spending time together and just remembering actually one of Raven's family members. And it was a heavy weekend, but it actually was a really, really good weekend just to kind of spend time together and some healing. And I think overall, all things considered, it went really well. So I was really happy with that. It was not hot, but it was very sunny and windy on that day.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a weird thing to talk about, I guess, but
Yeah.
it's heavily affected my last couple of days. We were outside and I was trying to dress semi, formal for the event. Obviously, I wasn't like in a suit and tie or anything like that. But
Yep.
we were outside for the whole day, like all day long. And I didn't have a hat on. I barely put on sunglasses, until like later on in the afternoon. And my hair is thinning out on the top. A lot of people like to make jokes about that. But I got like a wicked sunburn on the top of my head and like on my forehead, my arms a little bit, but that's pretty normal. But I've never had like underneath my hair be sunburnt before. So that's been a crazy thing to be dealing with. Right now, I'm able to kind of wear a hat and headphones, but like last night, I couldn't even wear headphones to play video games. Like it was like itching and felt like pins and needles a lot. And so I've been this sounds super weird, but I've been putting like actual lotion like on my head. My hair's pretty short, so it kind of works.
Yeah.
And that seems to be helping, but it's been a weird thing. But yeah, there's really not been a lot else going on. Just kind of work has been pretty busy, but been pretty good. And
Yeah.
again, little family trip this weekend, so which was
Yeah.
bittersweet, but definitely good to see a lot of people.
Yeah, I know that's always tough, and I know mentioned to you and Raven that that's never fun to have somebody pass away, especially in a family and someone that you're close to. So definitely feel that, and sending you guys some prayers and thoughts, because I know it's not a fun time. I mean, obviously it's good to like see people and memories and all that stuff, but it's also kind of like obviously sad at the same time. So
Yeah.
and also I forgot to mention, Raven is actually in town here, so we got to have. She was at our house, and we had dinner Sunday. Yeah, so I'm trying to think what day. Sunday night, so we are able to see her as well.
Yeah. Yep, she dropped me off at the airport and just drove straight to where you guys are at. So that's another thing. Just doing I would say single parent thing, but my mom is here, so I do have some support still. And
Yeah,
it's been fun, though. And honestly, we left for just a few days, and I feel like Parker already is like doing new stuff just over the weekend. So having a child at this age is just always fun. But
oh yeah,
yeah, always keeps us busy, keeps us active.
oh yeah. You're gonna be running around after him in no time. Well, you probably already are, but
Oh yeah,
probably a little faster in no time.
I've been telling people that the change is that I have to actually jog to keep up with him now. Before I could just walk quickly, so he'll be getting me in shape.
Wow. Mr. Greenbone said, "LOL, lotion that scalp up."
Oh, trust. That scalp has been getting lotion. What's up? Travis is in the house. What's up, Travis? Welcome in.
Yo, Travis, I am him. This shit ain't nothing to me, man, Travis. He's gonna start saying those sayings from that video. That's 100%. What's going on here? Oh my god. But,
Hell yeah.
well, obviously, I think some of the folks that are in here have seen the pod, hopefully, and know a little bit about us. But We always encourage people if we think we're doing a reasonable job to subscribe. We have, I think we're at 150 actually. I just saw. So our goal
Yeah.
is 200 on YouTube. So tell your friends, make some accounts out there if you're interested in helping us out. I might have to blur that one out, but um, it really helps us, and we can do more fun stuff and upgrade and do stuff like this. Start streaming and do other things. So.
Yeah, now we've been feeling the love for those who have been following along in the journey. We are slowly growing on all of our social media and have had a lot of really good dialogue, especially over this last week with some of the shorts we've been posting. So if
Yeah.
you've partaken in that, appreciate that, and please continue to do so. We really enjoy that.
What was we posted a video that kind of went crazy not too long ago with comments. Was it it was the power rankings for the NFL, right?
Oh yeah, that one blew up. Like
Yeah.
nearly 100 comments on that one.
Yeah. I mean, well, a lot of people just come out of the woodwork because they have their team and they want to talk about why their team's the best. Like, Mr. Greenbones, if I'm not mistaken, is a Packers fan. I think Travis, you're probably a Steelers fan, maybe still, but from what I recall.
Yeah,
But
and Bones
yeah.
is over here. He's upset about the Lions being so high.
Wow. Come on, man. Hometown favorites.
Well, also just legitimately up there as the best teams in the NFC. So I mean, obviously
Yeah.
there's other teams, but
Yeah. One of their players just retired, though. I don't know if you saw that today, but
yeah.
someone had, I think,
Let's talk about
yeah.
that really quick. What the hell is in the water in Detroit? Because you got Barry Sanders retiring early, Calvin Johnson retiring early. Their center, who was one of their captains, just retired today at 29. I
Yeah.
mean, what's going on there? Are they just like really focused on work-life balance and like longevity there? Or do they just never want to cross that line and actually win the Super Bowl because their stud players always retire when they're in their late 20s or early 30s?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if it was injury related or personal related. I'd have to honestly do a little more research as to like what it is, but it's weird. They do have a history of this. So, I mean, he's not like Barry Sanders or Calvin, Megatron, but um, it sucks. Sucks to see people go. But maybe he's taking what was the thing we talked about the other week? Oh,
Load management.
yeah, load management. He's like, I'm gonna retire. Good luck.
He saw the podcast and was like, I'm going to try that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So Greenbones, you are a Packers owner, sir. Oh, you're an owner. Realize that. Geesh, we got a big shot.
Yeah,
They play for the Lions.
playing for the
Well,
Lions has historically not been a great thing, although they're actually good right now.
yeah, that's true. See, Travis is putting his Steeler colors in there, which I don't know. He'll have to let us know who he thinks the QB is going to be next year.
That's the question, right? Hey,
Yeah.
hopping back into the socials though, if you guys are watching for the first time, singlebarrelsports.com has all of our socials, direct links. You don't even got to go searching for us. Just go to that simple URL and you'll see all of our social media platforms. And we appreciate all the follows and comments we get.
It's really funny though, because we came up with the name. I don't know if we've ever talked about this. We came up with the name Single Barrel Sports because we were just kind of going back and forth, and surprisingly, it was not taken anywhere. Like website, social media. We really didn't have any issues other than when we made the TikTok, I think I messed something up or it kept glitching. And so I had to like change something to like an underscore or one or whatever because the account like locked me out. So very interesting that that name was not taken anywhere. So, hey, we're pretty unique.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. And no copycats. So we're definitely not big enough for that, but just throwing that out there.
Not yet.
Not yet. Let's talk sports term of the week. Deeb, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I like this one. Ball don't lie. So this is kind of I don't know if I'd call it slang, but kind of an interesting one that um, I don't know. If I was an average person, I may not know what this means. I think I obviously know what this one means just because it's kind of more related to basketball. But basically, it essentially is slang for you get what you deserve, right? So let's say that someone had a foul and it was kind of controversial. So like maybe it was like a shooting foul or something, and it's a controversial foul and they don't agree with it. Well, some people then will say, "Ball don't lie." If the person goes to shoot the free throw and misses, one or both of the shots because basically they're saying, hey, that's kind of BS. Like that wasn't actually a foul. If you're LeBron, you flopped or something. If you're
Just going with
what's the
LeBron
guy,
there, huh?
what's the guy
We
from
could
the
talk about
Thunder?
Shea.
That
Yeah, we could talk about
yeah, I
Shea.
was gonna say. I was like that guy kind of flops too. So
Kind of. That dude is like the poster child of flopping,
he's floppy.
and he's the MVP of the league. So, guess it
Yeah,
works.
yeah, he's a little floppy. But yeah, that's the sports term of the week. Ball don't lie. Anything to add to it?
Well, the only other context I've seen, which is hilarious to me, but in the video game world, like playing Madden, if someone throws an interception, like sometimes they could be like, "Oh, that's BS. Like that shouldn't have happened," and people will be like, "Oh, ball don't lie. Like I picked it off, so it should have happened." So ball don't lie is kind of like the karma or the truth teller behind whether something's justified or not.
Yep. Yep. Ball don't lie, baby. I'm gonna probably have to say that. Maybe this year in football, we'll see. But more of a basketball term, I want to say.
Oh yeah.
So usually what we would, what we usually do is do kind of like a weekly recap. So we talk about some highlights of probably just more mainstream stuff of what's happened. We don't have too much this week, but I think we do want to talk a little bit about the latest and greatest PGA Tour event that happened, and then we're going to talk briefly about NBA Finals because that's now set, as well as is NHL playoffs also set for the finals too?
Yeah, they're on the exact same timeline right now, and we teed this up last week when we talked about it. We said this week we might be talking finals because all the series were 3-1, and they all ended 4-1 except for one, and that one ended 4-2. So here we are a week later talking about the finals. So that's where we're at.
So I can talk a little bit about the what happened in golf because I thought it was again kind of like a signature elevated event, and it'll lead us into next week, which we'll talk a little bit about afterwards. But this past week we had the Memorial golf event for PGA Tour. So it is a very iconic golf event. It's not a major, but it is basically the one that Jack Nicklaus, who is heralded essentially the greatest golfer of all time in terms of majors, some controversy. Obviously, people think Tiger Woods is also the greatest of all time, but Jack has more majors, Tiger has more wins. So you can, we can go back and forth about which one's which. But Jack is basically like this is his event. So it's held in, believe it or not, Dublin, Ohio, which is kind of in the Columbus area. And this one was interesting because, number one, I think it was a tough course overall for people. Like you saw that the winning score by Scottie was -10, which if you've seen some of the other events is not super low, for 4 days of golf. But he pulled away from the field once again, so he shot -10 total, and the next closest person was Ben Griffin, who shot -6. Kind of crazy too, because Ben Griffin actually just won the event last week. So what did you think about? What did you think about that? Yeah, what did you think about him playing well again? Because that's kind of hard to do.
A bit of a resurgence here. I mean, I remember the week before being like, oh damn, he came out of nowhere, and then here he is, almost doing it again. But one of the things that really caught my eye is that there's a pretty big separation between Scottie and Ben, and then when you look at like the middle of the field, I mean, people who were even over the 4 days were like not in a horrible placement. I mean, it definitely played tough this past weekend, and my guys sucked on my fantasy league, but it was fun to watch because I feel like a lot of times lately, if you're not like 5 or 6 under, you're not even in contention, and I feel like this time people in the top 10 were like 1 under, 2 under, like it was a lot closer, a lot more difficult of a golf course. So it seemed like.
It almost honestly kind of played like a major, generally speaking, from the scoring and just kind of the up and down that you saw with people. And it's crazy because the cut line was like +5 or something, which that right there tells you all you need to know, because that's literally like a major. Like if you were to play Augusta, that's kind of like what the cut line is sometimes there.
Absolutely.
Yo, I got to give a shout out. What's up, Crazy Corey? Look at these two handsome guys. What's up, man? How you doing?
Corey, what's up, brother? Thank you for popping in, sir. How have you been? We're talking golf right now.
Yeah, just talking about the Memorial that just happened. But So, generally speaking, Scotty ran away with it. One thing that I noticed, and I was kind of curious about this because I saw it on social media, but so Ben Griffin wears aviators. Like he's out here, he's golfing out here. He's like one of the only guys you'll see out here, sunglasses. And you're like, what's up with that? Like, why is this guy wearing sunglasses while he's golfing? Does he just think he's better than everybody? Because it's abnormal. But they interviewed him about it and asked him, and he said he started seeing what's called floaters. And no, I'm not talking about something in a toilet, but basically it was like he was seeing these spots everywhere, and he went to the doctor. Apparently, his retina was detached, and he had 8 retinal holes in each of his eyes. So he had to
Holy.
have surgery to maintain his eyesight. And so he says he wears the sunglasses basically to help so that he doesn't see that stuff as much while he's golfing, which I was like, that is crazy that guy is playing golf that well if he's like seeing spots everywhere.
That's insane. I can imagine how hard it would be to follow your ball after you hit it if you're seeing spots like that. But
Yeah.
also kind of a nice choice to do aviators. That's like a nice classic look out there on the course. And I also just want to shout out my wife who just joined the stream. What's up, Raven? Welcome in. It's so good
Yo,
to see you.
yo.
And
We
Corey, we're doing
literally
good, man. We're just talking golf and vibing in here. It's just good to see some friends. This is our first time live.
back to the live. And yeah, hey, Raven, what's going on? We were actually just, when we were doing our catching up, we were just chatting about how you guys were in Ohio and you were at our house a couple days ago. So I can't follow a golf ball with normal highs.
Same, literally same.
So yeah, so we had interesting story there with Ben Griffin, and then really the top 5, everybody else was kind of below there, so nothing too crazy with that. But some notable things I want to also mention. So the one I kept seeing on social media, I don't know if you saw this, Scott, or anybody in the chat, but did you see Jordan Spieth when he hit the golf ball and it literally like went right towards a guy videotaping, and the guy caught it on film?
Oh
Like
yeah.
he was literally standing there like this, and the ball just comes right. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it almost took his head off. That was great. Some of those people stand so close when the golfer is aiming like right near them.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to get hit? Um, so that one was interesting. Ricky Fowler secured a spot for the 2025 Open Championship, which is the one that's overseas at Royal Portrush, I believe is the one they're playing. So he secured that with where he finished. And then this is not related to this, but this is kind of a preview for next week. Max Homa, who's another popular golfer, he failed to qualify for the 2025 U.S. Open, so he had to do 36-hole qualifying round. He played in Ohio, and he did not make it. They had to do like what was it, like a 5-person playoff? I feel like Andrew texted us about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was
Right.
It was a 5-person playoff, and if I recall, on the last hole of the course, Max Homa had a 3-putt par. So if he would have gotten a birdie or even an eagle, then he would have secured that spot. But it took him 3 putts on the last hole, so then he was tied with 5 others and had to go into that playoff that he eventually lost. So pretty crazy to think about, like a colossal meltdown, really. He fell apart in that last hole and then couldn't get it done in the playoff.
Yeah. And I don't want to give away too much because we're going to talk about it next week. But next week is the U.S. Open, so our third major. But apparently a dentist made it. So
Really? Wow.
yeah. So
Hey, and just a quick shout out for those who have been following along. We in our majors that we've done so far on those episodes, we've had some guests, a different one each time. And next week, both of them will be joining us. So we're gonna have Andrew and Trent on the podcast to talk about that major. So just to tee that up a little bit. But go ahead, Deep, take it away.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say the U.S. Open is a little bit interesting too because in theory, I believe anyone can qualify in the U.S. So you can go and shoot. Like you have to shoot. I think it's like 36 holes. We'll talk about it more next week. But pretty much like you or I could qualify technically. We'd have to go and play. There's like obviously things you have to do to get in. But yeah, like a dentist made. It's kind of random. But
That's kind of wild. And yeah, when you said play 36, isn't it playing 36 in one day, I think?
I'm not sure. We'll have to do some more deep dive next week for our special. But yeah, it's something
we'll
kind
come
of crazy.
prepared. We'll be prepared next week. Yeah, Corey,
Yeah.
Raven and I are about to start golfing pretty regularly. I think it's time. And yeah, Bones, you got a chance, my man.
Hell yeah. And then a couple last things about this. I just try to pull some fun facts because I always those crazy stats and stuff in some of our other segments. But so Scottie Scheffler, with his win, became the first player since Tiger Woods in '99 to win back-to-back memorials. So he's the very first player since then. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
He also has 16 tour wins now in the last, it's like almost 1,200 days, which is approximately one win every 75 days. So that kind of sounds like it's not that much, but if you kind of do a comparison to other people, that's pretty darn good. But here's the crazy stat for you, Scott. If he keeps the pace he's going at, he'll match Tiger Woods the record of 82 wins in January of 2039.
So he's got to play at this level for 14 more years. He could do it.
Yeah.
I mean, he could do it at his age, but that would be quite a feat.
Yeah.
Because isn't he in his late 20s? He's like 28 or 29 or something like that.
Yeah, I want to say that, yeah. But that is that just kind of shows you how hard of a feat it is of what Tiger actually did over his career. Which, I mean, same thing with Jack. I think he had like 70 something wins. So
Yeah, and just to go back to that memorial stat, it sounds like Tiger won it 3 years in a row because it was 99 through 01. So you'd have won 99, 2000, and 01, right?
I have to double check that.
Or maybe they didn't play in the middle year.
Yeah, no, I think. Well, I don't know. I mean, the 2000 year was his craziest year. We'll have to we'll have to do like a segment just on that because 2000 is like the wildest year of his career. But with that win, get this, he's taken first at the Byron Nelson. He won 1.78 million. He took first at the PGA Championship. He won 3.4 million. He took fourth at the Charles Schwab. That's almost 500K. First at this, which was 4 million. So he's made $10 million in 30 days, basically.
Holy shit! And you know what's crazy about that is he made more money at the Memorial Tournament than he did winning the PGA Championship. Then that's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Some of them, some of those signature events, they really try to juice the pot to encourage better players to play. So.
Hey, we got Blum in here. What's up, Blum? Hey, we were just talking
Yo.
about next week's episode, having you back on here, man. It's good to see you.
Yo. I also saw some disc golf mentioned in the chat. So, that's always fun. I think I've disc golfed a couple. Have you ever played disc golf?
One time, and I was mediocre. It was fun, though. I did enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was there's a lot of reasonable disc golf courses back where my heritage is from in southeast Michigan, let's say.
Yeah.
So.
You know what? I think I prefer regular golf, though. I just got to get consistent with it. We have a plan now. I do have a plan. I'm going to get more consistent starting in a few weeks because we're doing a lot of vacationing this month.
Oh, yeah. So I think that's all I had for the memorial. Was there anything else on your end, Scott, that you noted or anything say that from the event in general?
No, I think just my recap as a new golf fan is that this did prove to be kind of a tougher event, it seemed like, for the golfers, and the cut line demonstrated that, and even the top 10 with their scores kind of showed that as well. But the big takeaway here is Scottie Scheffler has been the number one golfer in the world unanimously for quite some time now, but he wasn't winning a lot this year, and he's really come into his own element recently, and now he's won 3 times in the last month, right? 3 first places in the last 4 events, and even when he's not winning, he's always right there in the hunt. So he's proving why he is number one, and he's proving why it's really hard to doubt him, because he finds a way to get it done, and he's very calm and consistent. You can tell too, as someone who's just gotten into watching golf, when you watch him play, there's just an aura about him that there's some confidence there that he's never going to be out of the running, that he can always come back from whatever predicament he might find himself in.
Yeah. And you'll appreciate this. I don't know if you caught this, but as a father, but when at the end when he went to like give his wife a hug and his newborn toddler, whatever you want to call it, son was there. He just had poop on his back. Like you can hear his wife saying like, "Oh, like he had a blowout or something," and there's just literally a poop stain on his back. And I was like,
Yeah,
"Wow."
I'm familiar with the blowouts. I haven't had one in a little while, but definitely, yeah, that was something I had to get used to. I wouldn't say comfortable with, but I'll say used to.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, and Andrew, yeah, thanks for that stat. So, yeah, so Scotty has as many wins as Colorado Rockies have had the same.
Oh my gosh. And the mic was cutting out a little bit. I just want to repeat what you just said.
Oh,
Yeah,
go ahead.
the Colorado Rockies have as many wins as Scottie Scheffler has in the same period of time in the last month. That's crazy.
Yeah. Wild, man. I don't know. But I think that's all for golf. But you want to talk about NHL next, and then we can do NBA after?
Yeah, we kind of teed this up last week talking about the ways that the conferences were shaking out, and obviously, I had made it pretty clear that I had shifted my focus to rooting for the Hurricanes, but they were giving up a lot of goals. They did win a game before our episode last week to make that series 3-1, but they lost the next one to kind of close that out at a 4-1 end, and unfortunate. They've been a hot team for the last several years, though, and I expect they'll bounce back next year. But here we are with the same exact Stanley Cup Finals that we had a year ago, and whether you love it or hate it, we've got the Florida Panthers playing against the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers, in my opinion, have the best hockey player of this generation on their team, and I'm really rooting for them now. I want them to get it done. Last year, the Florida Panthers got it done, so let's see if we can get at least a different champion this year, even if we have the same two teams. It's starting to feel like the Golden State Warriors versus the Cleveland Cavaliers for a while there back in the early 2010s.
Yeah.
And I know you don't watch a lot of hockey, D, but you should definitely watch some of the games in this series because you're going to see some really intense and skillful hockey.
Starts tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, thank you for pointing that out. The first game is tomorrow night, Wednesday, June 4th. Whenever you're listening to this, June 4th is game one of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'll have to tune in because I know it's the same thing with NBA Finals. I feel like it gets very heated. At least if it's a good matchup, though. I'm hoping it's not like a 4-1 blowout.
I hope,
That's
yeah.
stupid,
We had enough of
It's
those in the
like,
conference finals.
yeah, it's annoying.
Because ironically, both of our hockey series ended at 4-1.
Yeah, yeah. But who do people in the chat want to win for hockey if you have a team? I know, Corey, you mentioned you hate the Panthers, but kind of have some mixed feelings there. But
Yeah, Corey is a
curious if anyone
Bruins fan.
has thoughts.
He's rooting for the former Bruin there with Marchand, and ugh.
Okay.
I'll just say ooh to that, Corey.
Well, everyone has their team and player. So, so NBA playoffs came to a Western Conference, Eastern Conference close. It's going to be Pacers versus Thunder. I got to give Scott some credit. He kind of, generally speaking, called the Pacers right from the beginning of the playoff series going to the finals. So, got to give you credit for that one. I did not see that coming until maybe after the first round, and I was like, okay, they're playing pretty well. I actually thought that the Knicks had a really good chance, though. I'm not going to lie. Like, I was very surprised by the Knicks, especially just them to make it that far. So, should be a really interesting one. I don't know. I mean, the Thunder, obviously, I think would be the favorite, but the Pacers have been also playing lights out. So, what are your thoughts on the finals?
Yeah, I would say that the Pacers are a surprise, but I did predict this way back, over a month ago. So for me, at least, I had faith in this. I will say that I agree with you that I would have to think that the Thunder are the favorite. I haven't looked at the betting odds at all for this, but I'm going to keep riding with them, and I'm going to keep rooting for the Pacers. I've been riding them the whole playoffs, and they've looked good. And the interesting thing is I also thought that might have been a pretty competitive series. And one could argue, well, the Knicks blew a pretty big lead in game one that gave the Pacers kind of a leg up, but the Pacers also blew a pretty big lead against the Knicks in one of the Knicks wins, so they kind of gave that back, and they still won 4-2. So shout out Pacers. I think we're going to have a good series here, and I just hope that it's not too much of flop central with Shea on the Thunder, but I mean, he's the MVP for a reason. Great player, whether you like his antics or not. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. It should be an interesting one. Got to give a shout out to Trent. Thanks for joining us, bud. We were just chatting a little bit about golf not too long ago. Mentioned that we're going to have a special. Andrew is in here as well. I know we're going to have both of you on next week for golf. So definitely looking forward to that. And then Corey said, "Let's go Pacers,"
Let's go,
and
Corey.
and he wants to see McDavid finally get a cup, which I think. I'm trying to remember, did we do our prediction, Scott, of who we thought was going to win
We both
the
said the
finals?
Oilers, and I hope that's what it is.
Okay. Oilers. Yeah, I stick with that. And then did we pick the NBA one? I don't think we did.
You said Thunder, and I said Pacers last week, but you're welcome to change it if you want.
Okay. No. I was just making sure. I couldn't remember. Trent said Pacers in 6.
I
Oilers
agree.
in 6.
Pacers in 6 is what I got. I'm gonna go Oilers in 7 though. That's my prediction.
I think it's going to be Thunder in 7. They're going to draw it out for the money. That's what they like to do for the finals.
Oh, not the conspiracies.
Oh, no, I just think, I don't know, more money, more problems.
Valid. I will agree with what Andrew said. Nobody wants the Panthers to win. I know they just won last year, but even then, I don't think anybody was actually rooting for them. So let's let the Oilers have their day. It's about time that McDavid wins.
Yeah, that's fair. I think we're to the halftime pour, if I'm not mistaken.
I think we
generally
are.
speaking.
I sure do.
Yeah, hell yeah. So we can talk a little bit about. Let's we're gonna do the halftime pour, but since we have some people watching here live too, we can kind of give them a little bit more. Let's give them a little bit more in depth about like where did the halftime pour come from and why do we incorporate bourbon into this sports podcast, right? Because it's a little bit unique. Like you don't usually see bourbon with sports,
Yeah.
generally speaking. At least when we were doing some of our field research, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to kind of start that, and really, I mean, it's a twofold reason here. First of all, there's 1,000 sports podcasts. No, there's 1,000,000 sports podcasts out there, then in different fashions and varieties. And we thought to ourselves, we're fine being a part of 1,000,000, but let's do something a little bit different. And both of us are very into sports, which is why we chose that to be the singular focus. But we're also very into bourbon. We've been bourbon drinkers for quite some time. We've gone to the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. I don't know, Deep. I've probably gone with you 3 or 4 times. I've gone with some of my other friends once, and it's kind of an annual trip at this point. And so for us, it was kind of combining two of our passions together, and to kind of make some small bourbon references throughout our sports discussions, but then have a moment to kind of sit down and sip on some bourbon while we talk about sports as well. Because what's better than talking about things you care about while sipping on some nice warm bourbon? You got anything to add? Feel free.
Yeah, I mean, I think to both of us, bourbon was something that brought us, kind of just generally speaking, together in various moments. Like I can think of a handful of times where we've gone to the trail. I remember your birthday where I drank way too much. Like it's just been, I think, kind of one of those. It's something that brings people together, and something that if you kind of have a shared interest, it's one of those things that we enjoy. And I don't know. I mean, I think we kind of like thought about the name, single barrel, basically very unique barrel that's selected from the warehouse, and we wanted to put a spin on that to kind of, again, make it a little bit more unique in terms of branding and some of the stuff we do. So I know what we usually do is we always tell you what we're sipping on, so we can do that and, kind of tell you a little bit about that. And I think we have a question of the night, which we can open it up to anyone out there who's on.
Yeah. I mean, if we got a few people here, we'd love to ask you the question of the night as well. So I'm happy to ask that. And it's actually related to Madden, which we're going to maybe try and play here in a little bit. We were having some issues playing it on PC earlier, but we're going to try it, I think. So for those of you who have played Madden or maybe played other sports video games, imagine this. But you get to create a Madden team made entirely of fictional characters. Who is your quarterback? Who is your coach? And who is your bourbon sponsor? Dave, I'll let you start while others kind of ponder that, and I would love to hear from people if you guys have some thoughts on that.
Well, let's do what we're drinking, and then I'll give you my.
Yeah.
Give me some time to think, and we can see what people say. But I've got the old reliable, the Buffalo. Nothing too crazy here. Nice, $35, $40 bottle, depending on where you're at. But just the old good reliable. I figured we were doing something a little bit different tonight, so I wanted something a little more reliable for sip. So that's what I'm sipping on. What are you sipping on?
Always good. Well, listen, this is the last bottle I have in the house. and it's almost empty, which means it's time to go to the store. And I've had it on
Uh-oh.
here before, but it is the Maker's Mark Cask Strength. There it is. You can barely see it, but you can see how empty it is.
Nice.
This is I'm a lover of hot bourbon. I like to feel the spice, to taste the different intricacies, and so this is a 112 proof. It's fairly affordable. I think I only paid like 40 or $50 for this, and it does the trick if you're trying to just have a a little sip to feel something, but it also tastes delicious. And so we're sipping on that tonight, and should have something different next week because I'm almost out of bourbon.
Because I have no other choice. Oh, that's funny. All right, so the question of the night. So you get to create a Madden team, fictional characters, right? So it
Yep.
can be anybody. It doesn't have to be sports athletes.
No, yeah, it shouldn't be sports athletes because it's fiction,
Okay.
right? So think like I don't know, like I'm already thinking
Uh,
like Marvel and Star Wars and like any like fictional characters.
all right, my quarterback is probably going to be Jon Snow.
Okay, I love it,
Um,
love it.
because I feel like he's the man. He's going to be able to lead people, the king of the north. Maybe he'll play in like Minnesota or Green Bay for Green Bones out there. When in the cold, and he can take you through the battle. So I feel like he's the QB. The coach, I would say, who's someone wise? My coach is going to be Gandalf from the Lord of the Rings
I
because
was
he's
literally
like
just thinking.
super. That's who you're
I
thinking?
was just thinking Gandalf. I was like, dude, there's two people that came to my mind. Go ahead and finish your statement though.
Yeah, it's because he's just like obviously super wise, powerful. He knows everything. He can kind of help you out when you need it.
Gandalf the Gray or
And then
Gandalf the White?
I don't know the white.
Okay, he's even more wise.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say whichever one's wiser.
He came back from the
Um,
dead.
yeah, that is true. I remember that part. Bourbon sponsor. Man, Jon Snow and Gandalf. Who's gonna be their bourbon sponsor? I feel like it's got to be. Ooh. Is there anyone in the north? The Traverse City Bourbon
Ooh,
Distillery,
that's a nice pick.
because it's from the north, and so it kind of goes along with the theme of like, I don't know, Jon Snow.
Hey, and anyone listening, if you've never had Traverse City bourbon, get their barrel proof. Trust, you'll enjoy it.
I think I have a bottle.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
Greenbone said Al Bundy is the only right answer as QB. He made sports history for
Wow.
Polk High, scoring 4 touchdowns in the city championship against Andrew Johnson High. Facing a 3-touchdown deficit, Bundy refused to quit, delivering the game-winning touchdown.
Wow. So random. Is that real? Or is
I
that fake? You
yeah,
just make that up?
I'm sure he Googled that or it came from something. It looks
Okay.
copied and pasted, I hope, but I'm going to tell you mine, and it's going to be so much better than yours. I'm kidding, but it's going to be awesome. So my quarterback, the captain, the only captain that could quarterback the best football team of all time, Captain America, is going to be my quarterback, Steve Rogers. My coach, the wisest character of all time, the only person I would pick over Gandalf, Yoda.
Wow. I
And
kind of knew that was coming.
And any chance I can get to shout them out, I'm going to. So my bourbon sponsor, and if you've never had any other bourbons, it's expensive, but it's worth it. Bardstown is going to be our sponsor. Bardstown
fair.
bourbon, if you can see it on the shelf, if you want a nice bottle for yourself, buy one of their more expensive ones, and I promise you it is worth the money. As much as it sucks to spend on bourbon, to spend high dollar, you'll enjoy it, I promise you. Walter White is your coach.
If you don't wait, Married with Children, is that a show? I feel like I've heard
I've
of it.
heard of it, but I've never watched it. So sorry,
Yeah.
Bones. I guess Homer Simpson. Okay, bro.
That's not a bourbon brand. Come on. Oh my god. So
Well-
what do you think? Do you want to try to play Madden, or do you want to just go through some random questions that we can go through?
Why don't we? Why don't we try it? We'll try it. Are you guys good with that? I know there's a few people here listening. We'll try it. If it's not working, then we've got some backup plans we'll just go to.
Yeah.
Ron
that's fair.
Swanson is the coach. Jim Halpert is QB. Ooh, I love that. Oh, and Jim Beam. Okay. Okay, I see you.
What about Hagrid as the coach.
Hagrid's kind of a moron.
No, not Hagrid. I'm thinking of what's the guy from Harry Potter that's the
Dumbledore?
older guy?
You're thinking of Dumbledore, right?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of. I was like the old guy, not Hagrid. Hagrid's the big guy, right?
Yeah, he's the one
Okay.
that's. I mean, he's nice. He's a cool dude, but yeah, he's kind of a mess.
Listen, we don't know Married with Children, but now we're gonna look.
Yeah, well, listen, you guys
I'm
give
gonna
us some
look.
homework, so there you go.
Yeah,
Y'all can hold us
that's why we
accountable.
need you. We need you to give us the recommendations.
I've literally heard of that show, and that's it. I don't know anything about it. I've also heard the name
All
Al
right.
Bundy, but yeah, I don't know who he is.
Oh, yeah, I've definitely heard of Al Bundy. All right, I've got Madden loaded up, so
All right, let's give
let's
this a shot.
let's see if it works. If I can slap you around a little bit.
Well, that's not going to happen, but good luck.
Hey, you never know. But you know what though? I think we do have some kind of like random questions that we've come up with, right? To discuss during this as well. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't, hey, we still have questions, and we can even ask our guests if they want us to talk about anything in particular.
Absolutely. Yeah, you guys, this is definitely the part of the show where if you guys want to talk about whatever, then feel free. This is open season. Are you going to
Alright.
invite me, or do you want me to invite you, or how do you want to do this?
Yeah, I'll send you an invite in just
Okay.
1 second here.
And it looks like the game pulled up, so that's a promising start. Just so you guys know, we had some issues. We did try like right before we went live. We tried to test this. It looked good at first, but then there were times where we just like it wouldn't read our buttons. Like we could press buttons and like nothing was happening. So
Yeah.
if the Madden doesn't work, we'll just chat. We'll just keep hanging out. But we're gonna try to play a game of Madden and chat. So hopefully best of both worlds. But if not,
Yeah.
we'll adapt like we do. We
Yeah,
do
I'm
know
just
that from content creation that you got to be able to adapt.
Yeah, sorry, you had mentioned turning something on your graphics. I was just gonna do that real quick before we hop
Oh
in.
yeah, just turn the render to low, the render settings,
Okay.
and
I'll
that pretty
do
much
that real quick.
lowers all the graphics, which might help with some of the issues we had.
Okay.
I don't know
I'll
if
do
it
that
was
real-
you or me or both of us. Who knows what was going on, but something wasn't working.
Okay, no problem. I just changed it. All right, we'll hop in. So I think one of the questions that we had as we're getting into the game here is, this is for anybody out there, and we can kind of give our thoughts. What athlete from another sport could realistically make it in the NFL today? I think we might have talked about this a little bit on our NBA 2K episode a few weeks ago, but I think
Yeah,
like
we
the
asked about who would
basketball
be able
player.
to play basketball, so this is who would be able to play football now.
Okay, so different sport. So yeah, similar question, different sport. But yeah, who realistically could make it to the NFL? Do you have any thoughts on that, Scott, or anybody in the chat?
I have thoughts. Most of my thoughts are older though, but I'll say them anyway, and then we can maybe brainstorm some current players.
Okay.
Mr. Greenbone said Brock Lesnar. I'm gonna agree with that because I think he actually was in the NFL for a second, right?
He was. He played for the Vikings. I had one of his rookie card and I sold it.
Deeb, do you want to just choose teams, or do you want to do the old like 3 random teams and you got to choose one of the
Yeah, let's do the 3.
3? All right. Steelers.
Yeah.
Definitely probably not going to be that.
All right.
Bears,
I had
ooh.
Falcons,
Oh my, they're horrible.
Dolphins, Patriots.
Okay, do you want to do the thing where if you can choose a 4th one, but you're stuck with them if you do it, or do you want to stick to the 3?
I just do the 3. I'm gonna be the Dolphins.
I didn't think I was going to do this, but I guess I'm going to be the Steelers.
I mean, it might be better than the Dolphins. Yeah.
I guess I'm assuming that the rosters are updated. If they're not, then I'm definitely wanting to be the Steelers, but
I have no idea. Maybe. I mean, I don't. Maybe I don't think they have the rookies though. It'd probably be.
that's
Up to
fine.
date till
We'll do
now.
it. I either have
Yeah.
George Pickens or I have DK Metcalf. You know, it's one or the other.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Well, athlete.
I said this my whole life, and I think he's too old for it now, obviously. But my pick would be LeBron James to play tight end in the NFL. I think he would have been good at that. I also would love to see someone like Kevin Durant play like wide receiver or something.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm trying to think, like, I don't want to have a cop-out answer, so that's why I'm like, I think, okay, what sports are out there? Oh shit, I might have just kicked it out of bounds. Not on
Oh
accident.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
Sorry. I was trying to think and I didn't push the right buttons.
Oh, hey, noted. Noted. We just asked deep questions and he completely fumbles.
Okay,
Hey,
give
Deeb,
me
you
a,
can look at the chat, but don't look at the screen, okay? Because you might see my plays type shit.
no, I don't even have that.
LeBron
You're
James
good.
will get injured. Come on, get out of here, bro. Come on. Come on.
I want to say,
Are you able to pick a play? I'm waiting for you.
yeah.
Okay, okay. Just making sure it's working.
Taking me a second. I'm trying to think and I would say
Fuck. I mean, hell yeah. I
maybe
have Russell
maybe
Wilson. Let's go.
maybe this one is too similar to Brock Lesnar, but I'll say it anyway. Bill Goldberg. Like I know he did play
Damn
football
it.
technically. He played for Georgia. I don't know if he played in the NFL though. Oh my
I'm not sure.
but
I don't want to
how'd
hear
that
it.
taste by
Okay,
the way?
I don't want to hear it. Oh no.
But yeah, I feel
Uh-oh.
like Bill Goldberg's the first person that came to mind
There we go.
when I
Okay.
thought of like,
Bill Goldberg.
kind of like
You
Brock
love
Lesnar.
Bill Goldberg, bro. You love him.
Dude, that guy's a savage, bro.
That
I
guy,
mean,
he's kind of a moron though, but he is a savage.
yeah, but he's just a brute. Like
Well, yeah, that's true.
he's a force. I don't
Bro,
know.
are you gonna take this long to pick a play every time?
It's not as fast as I'd like. Let's put it that way.
Oh, the
My
game is moving
gameplay.
slow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
It's not me.
We'll see how
it's,
it goes.
It's the game. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, like, go through sports. Like, there's not really any golfers. Maybe Bryson could make it in the NFL. I mean,
Yeah, right.
that's
Dude.
kind of a
Bryson?
stretch.
Absolutely not.
I mean, I'm just saying he's like a bigger guy. I'm not saying he's built
No,
for
I would
the
think like
NFL.
baseball, NBA, hockey. Like those would be the sports I'd probably be looking at. UFC,
Yeah.
maybe.
But even like baseball, like those guys aren't. I don't know.
I think
Aaron
like
Judge, yeah, okay. I could see that, Corey.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Or like John Jones from the UFC. What the hell? Did you pause
Yeah.
it?
Nah, I didn't mean to. If I did,
Well, that's fine if you did. I was just like, what? What just happened?
did it go back?
Not yet.
Oh,
Just waiting for
sorry,
your
my
peer.
game. Yeah, sorry, my game's really slow.
It's fine. I mean, well, we can try it a little longer. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work, and we'll just talk.
Okay, it says waiting for you to resume.
Mine says waiting for you. What the hell?
Oh, interesting.
You both need to unpause. Well, we're trying, bro. We're trying. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like the EA Sports games just don't work on PC. I think the solution here, Deeb, is you need to get a PlayStation 5, and we can play all these games on the PS5 with my capture card because that never fails.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, what I was gonna do is, I was going to just sell. I just literally bought the new Xbox last year, only for college football. But
Yeah,
I
you
was
bought
just
the
gonna
wrong
sell
console.
that. I've had Xbox for a while, so that's why. But I didn't think.
Do
it won't
you just
let
want
me
to
unpause.
scrap this? I cannot unpause the game.
Yeah, I can't unpause it either.
All right, we'll
Unfortunately.
scrap this and we'll just keep talking, and
Yeah.
it's fine. It is what it is.
Screw you, Madden.
Sorry to those who wanted to see competitive Madden, but
Yeah.
apparently that's not going to happen tonight. That's not in the
Well,
cards.
I had one sack, so I won.
No, that wasn't a sack. It was an incomplete pass.
Whatever. That means I won.
No, I had a 10-yard run. What's up?
Wow.
Well, let's just talk about some of this stuff though. Like we do have some questions here. We'll hang out and vibe. We got a couple people here hanging with us, so
Yeah.
go ahead. You want to ask the next one?
Yeah, so similar-ish question, but what is the best hypothetical sports crossover? So like I'll give you an example. Like think like Patrick Mahomes pitching in MLB or something. I think he played baseball if I'm not mistaken. So what would you think would be the best sports crossover? So not necessarily just NFL, just anything in general.
I'm gonna say Cristiano Ronaldo playing kicker in the NFL.
Okay. That's fair. Just mainly because he's a soccer player.
Yeah, and he's like one of the best placement kickers of all time.
That's true. I mean, I know it's popular for soccer players in college to cross over to college football, and I've seen that. And it's like really popular for Australian people.
Yeah, it really is.
It's very random, but I don't know if it's because soccer or rugby or something
I think it's because
like
they're
that
used to
big there.
punting in the ball on the run in rugby. And so then they
Yeah,
can set up like trick plays where if people don't rush the punter, they can just keep running forward until they get rushed. And if they never get rushed, they can just run the
yeah,
ball for a first down.
yeah. That's fair. I think mine would be. I think it'd be really interesting to see like the guys who love to play or played like golf, like Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley. I know Charles Barkley's not super good at golf, but I think it'd be very interesting to see some of those guys play golf
Yeah.
because like
Like
they're
competitively,
super.
like as
Oh
their
yeah,
sole career, right?
yeah. Steph Curry, like I know he plays in a lot of pro-am stuff, and he's actually pretty good. Josh Allen, I know he
Yeah.
plays. Tom
My
Brady.
boy.
There's a lot of athletes that play golf, so I feel like it would be really cool to see them in that sport and just kind of see like where do they stand? You know, are they actually going to be good or are they going to be average? Kind of like when you see them in pro-ams.
Yeah.
So
Well, we tried to play a video game, so let's shift to some video game discussion here. Um,
yeah,
and this goes to anybody. Jared Goff is an MLB pitcher. That'd be interesting. I played baseball and football, and I feel like the throwing motion to be a quarterback is so different from pitching.
hmm
But some people can do it. Like I've seen some pitchers who can, or some quarterbacks who can pitch pretty well. I could not. I couldn't. I could throw the ball better from the outfield towards the catcher than I could from the mound.
yeah. Well, that does seem to be a common theme though. Like NFL, we were just talking about this the other day. It was a Bo Jackson NFL MLB. There's like
hmm
some people who could play MLB that end up playing football or vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, Bo Jackson was great at both. He might have been the best two-sport athlete of all time, but it's hard to say because he had such a short career because of his injuries.
Yeah, Deion Sanders. Who's
Michael Jordan.
this is yeah. I mean, I was thinking football though, but yeah,
Yeah.
Michael Jordan obviously. I mean, he wasn't good at baseball though. I don't know why. I really
Kyler
don't know why
Murray.
he did that.
Kyler Murray was a first overall draft pick in baseball and a first overall draft pick in the NFL.
Yeah,
Or he might not have been
um,
first overall in baseball. He might have been, but he was definitely first round, which is a big
yeah,
deal in baseball because they have a lot of rounds.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I feel like NFL MLB has come. You don't see it as much for basketball.
Yeah.
Basketball players, other than some of them playing football, like Antonio Gates, I think they said he played basketball.
Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, like some of those tight end type guys, but you don't see it very often. But sorry, you wanted to get into some video game questions?
Yeah, I think it'd be fun since, I mean, we tried to play a video game, but obviously sports video games are something that a lot of people who are sports fans have played over the years, especially as, I would say, as kids. If you're our age and you grew up in the 2000, or like, I was born in 90, playing sports games in like the early 2000s, we had a lot of really cool, like evolutionary moments of sports games. I feel like right now, sports games kind of suck. They don't really change much year after year, but there was a time where they were constantly evolving. So, Deeb, what is the first sports game that you ever played? And anybody else who's listening, feel free to answer that. And do you think it would still hold up today?
The first one that I remember playing is NFL Blitz.
Oh, okay, the original?
Yeah,
Nice.
I think it
Okay.
was on N64, maybe. I feel like,
That sounds right.
if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, super. I mean, just very arcade-like game. So it was like just yeah, like you're throwing bombs all the time. I mean, it was like very ish, but it was obviously revolutionary for the time span of when it came out. But does it still hold up today? I mean, if you're just looking for some kind of just nostalgic game, maybe, but it might be really hard to play given a lot of the types of games and style of the gameplay.
Yeah,
So
they could redo it, but it would probably be a lot different. But I would
Yeah.
say, yeah, to Greenbones' point in the chat here, that game went hard. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This is going to show my age a little bit. I'm a few years old, a couple years older than you, Deeb, but my first sports game that I ever played, you're not going to believe this. It was on the Super Nintendo, and it was Nolan Ryan's Baseball, is what it was called. That came out in 1991. I just did a Google search. It came out in 1991. I didn't probably play it then because I would be 1 year old, but I probably started playing that game when I was like 4 or 5, and I remember as a kid, that was my go-to. Like I would go play it on Saturday mornings before anyone in the house was awake. I would be in the living room playing that game.
Yeah.
And it was, looking back on it, it would be horrible to play that game now. Like that game would suck to play now. Bones, yes, that was one of my earlier games too. NBA Jams, and also one of the best games of a generation, I think. NBA Jam. Deeb and I actually played NBA Jam at a wedding on an arcade machine. And that was a pretty cool memory, man. I will remember that for a long time. We were kind of drunk. We were just going at it on this arcade machine, and like a bunch of people were watching us. That was such a fun time.
Oh yeah. That was definitely something. Oh man, I'm trying. Okay, I was trying to think of. There was another NFL game that that's me. I just typed it in the chat. Sorry, it's on my other YouTube. NFL Street. That's the one I was trying to look up, and what is it? But yeah, NFL Street, dude. Talk about games that were crazy for the time. That game was amazing, man. It was like, I don't know, like just the gameplay was so different too. It was kind of like NBA Jam, like I'd call the NFL version of it. It was so fun for like the time that it came out because it was very different from Madden. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up in a question that I was gonna ask later, so I'm gonna ask it now. But if you could bring back one defunct sports game franchise, what would it be? And that would be mine. NBA or NFL Street was. I put countless hours into NFL Street, dude. Both the first
Yeah.
game and the second game. Just absolutely loved that game. It was. I feel like it was ahead of its time. It was a step up from Blitz, in my opinion. A little bit less violent, but like it incorporated the time period we were in, where trash talk was a big thing back then, and skills types of moves like big spin moves or hurdles was like very fancy.
Yeah.
You had Michael Vick running way faster than everybody else. What a time to be alive. And honestly, I kind of want to download an emulator and go play NFL Street right now, or at least Street
Yeah.
2, because those games
Yeah.
were so good.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I saw someone said Greenbone said Def Jam.
Oh, Def Jam, that was so fun.
What was that? Was that like where you could fight as rappers or
Yes,
something?
yes, it was. You would have like record deals and fight each other and whatnot. Yeah, it was. Those were fun games. Amanda, what's up? It's good to see you.
Yo, cooking but listening. Thank you for listening in.
Yeah, it's so good to see you. Yeah, first time on YouTube, and I think it's working. The video game didn't work, but we're having fun talking.
Yeah. The other one I was thinking of was to bring back would be, well, okay, there's two that came to mind. Number one, they already brought it back, which, college football, whatever, NCAA. So that dream kind of came true. But the other one was, I wish they would just try an NFL 2K game. I know we kind of talked about this a few weeks ago, but I thought that the NFL 2K games were legit when they, like, back in the day. I know you said they were a little bit cheesy.
They suck, dude.
I just thought that they did such a cool job of like all the things that they added to that game, like having Chris Berman on there as like announced. You know what I mean? Like they
That
had
part
a
is
segment
true.
with him,
Yeah.
having the like mode where you can be in the helmet. I don't know. It was revolutionary for its time, even if you think it was cheesy. So
Well, I will say what Greenbones just said is exactly how I feel about it. If for no other reason, we need 2K to try again, because Madden needs some competition to actually improve their game.
yeah,
I feel like Madden has been stagnant for like 10 years now, and
yep,
that's why I don't buy it anymore. I used to buy it every single year. It was one of my favorite video games to buy every year and just play it all the time. But
Yeah.
I haven't bought a Madden game in like a decade now. It's been a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Think the last time I owned a Madden game, I was playing with Danny Woodhead, as a Patriots running back.
Wow. I haven't heard that name in a while. Yeah, Mr. Greenball's literally just said that too. That's funny. Oh my
Yeah.
god. But I don't know. And I know, I mean, you kind of talked about this, but yeah, is Madden still worth buying every year? I'm college football now. I mean, I have not really played Madden. Played Madden probably like 7 or 8 years, maybe. It's been a long time since I've actually played the game, so I don't know. I like the college football game better. Apparently, they're adding some of the things from college football into the new Madden, is what I. But
Well, they should.
yeah, because I think it functions a little bit better.
You know what I think is one of the best sports games that have come out recently, and you could say it's not a sport if you want to, but the newest WWE 2K game is really good. It is super, super good.
Yeah.
It's got a variety of good game modes. Just the career mode on there is fantastic. The storyline is great. The combat is good. But then you can, create your own universe if you want to get really nerdy into it. But something Greenbones and I actually have done, and he's calling me number 2 because he's an asshole. They have a GM mode on there where you can like draft your team, like draft your wrestlers. You can like set up your own title holders and your matches and whatnot, and it competes against like the other brands. So like him and I did this. We played a season against each other where we built our match cards.
Mm-hmm.
I was in first place for like 29 weeks, and on week 30, which was the finale, he passed me. I got second place. Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently, being in first for 29 weeks means nothing. It's just who's in first in the very last event.
That sucks.
Yeah, I got stabbed. So that's one of the things though. Is there's like power cards where you can like sabotage things and like I don't know. There's a lot to it. It's a lot of fun.
I do have to agree with you because I think I bought the previous WWE game, not the one from this year, but I think maybe the year before. And I did play it a little bit. Like I did the story mode. I created my own character and stuff, and I thought it was very well done. Yeah, I mean, that's why I think I like 2K games. That's why I think they could do a better NFL game because their golf is better than EA. Their basketball put whatever it was, the NBA game commission. They have a chance, man. They could monopolize it, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not, obviously, but
there's definitely no debating that they do some sports games better. And
yeah.
NBA and golf are great examples. I will say EA still has the UFC. I think their UFC game is great. I'm excited for a new one. It's only on console. I wish it was on PC, but then again, Madden and 2K are on PC, and they don't run very well on here, do they? So.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Greenbones also brought up, Mario sports games. I actually really like those, which is very random. I never thought I would, but for the Switch, those are awesome. I love the golf game. I haven't played the soccer one. Have you tried that one?
No, dude, but Mario Tennis on the N64 is still one of my favorite games of all time. Like that game was so well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, he just said that too. Yep, Bones just said that too.
Wow, you guys are just on the same page. But yeah, no, I really like those. I also like the Mario game. That's one
Say that again. That might cut out just momentarily.
Mario Olympics.
Oh yeah, that game's awesome.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, and Bones said this, and I think you did too. But we've had a lot of fun with our friends in real life playing Mario Golf together. That's a fun drinking game.
Yeah, and Mario Kart.
Mario Kart goes hard.
We did bring this up slightly, but I want to re-bring it up. But what are your thoughts on the new college football game? Because it's going to come out in July. Trailer or not, but looks pretty interesting. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that I want a group of friends to get together to create an online franchise mode with, because I think that could be more fun than like most sports games. But you have to be on the same platform. That's one thing. When the last one came out, I had a bunch of people agree to do it, but then like a few of them were on Xbox, a few were on PS, and we couldn't actually get everyone to play together. And you were one I couldn't really get to do that with. So, yeah, I'm excited for it. I thought their last game was a huge jump forward. It had a few quirks and glitches in it, but if they work on any of those things, it's going to be a fantastic game again this year. The college football should be back forever, in my opinion.
Hey, guess what?
What's that?
You're getting what you asked for, cross-play dynasty mode in college football 26, baby.
Really? Did they announce that?
Yep.
Oh.
They did. It's one of the features that they said you can do a 32-person cross-platform dynasty mode now online.
I'm excited. That is
Yeah.
honestly like the biggest missed opportunity of the last year. I had about 6 people ready to do it, and like half and half were on each platform. So if we can cross plat that, then we should definitely make that a thing that we do with a group of people, and that would be so
Yeah.
much fun to be able to do recruiting every year, and all of the whole process is so fun.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's a lot more than 32 teams in college football,
Yeah.
but you can just play against the computer when you're available, and when we play against humans, we just organize a time to play. It's something super easy to organize. I've been doing that in Madden football since like back in like 2004. So
Yeah. And so, I mean, I may not need to buy a PS5. We'll see, but I still might do it anyway.
if you
Just because
do,
I don't
we
know.
can play every sports game together.
Yeah.
But
Well, like honestly though, everybody I know has a PS5 these days.
one of the things
So
I
it's
think would
kind
be
of like,
really fun is to play a lot of UFC with you on these podcast episodes.
yeah,
That
I
never
love that
gets old.
game.
People love watching people fight each other. Not
Yeah.
everyone understands like football or basketball or whatever, but everyone understands punching and kicking each other.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. But college football makes Greenbow's nervous because EA will make it about college ultimate team. I hope not. I don't
Yeah.
think that that's part of that's never really been part of their quote unquote brand. So hopefully it stays out.
If it's an EA game, it could happen. But at the end of the day, even when the ultimate team is around, like the college football dynasty going cross platform is a huge step forward. So
Yeah.
we'll take that.
Yep. But anyways, what do you think? Community call out time?
Yeah, I think tonight we do it different. Obviously, we've had some really great social media interaction especially over the last week. We've had a lot of great content. Really proud of that. But I really want to recognize the people that have stopped in here tonight and hung out in our very first live stream. I mean, we've had a handful of people in here talking. We didn't even know when we hit live if it was going to work. So this has been super fun. We didn't have a ton of content tonight, but we had great conversation, and I think that's more important a lot of times. So shout
Yeah.
out to you guys who have been here. Green Bones. I know Travis was here earlier. We've had Corey and Raven in here. Andrew, Trent,
Yep.
Amanda. I think that's most of the people that have at least spoken in the comment. And, there might be some people who have been listening but haven't been chatting. But
Yeah.
thanks for being here. This is honestly like Deeb and I love this to keep up with each other, but it's been fun to talk to other people too. That's why we do it. We want to include other people in the sports convo. So thank you and shout out to you guys for being here tonight.
Yeah. And I have to say one thing. Just even the people who are here, it does kind of make me miss streaming. I'm not gonna lie, because I know you and I used to stream and run a streaming community. Shout out Team Neat. But yeah, I don't know. It's fun to also like get other people in the convo because I like hearing from people, and this is more interactive where people can directly comment on what we're talking. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like it, but
Well, let me ask you
we'll
guys too. For those of you who've been hanging out tonight, would this be something you guys would be interested in doing? I don't want to say every week because we might not be able to commit to that, but like more regularly because we are interested in kind of exploring more live streaming, but we also want to make some regular content that's a little bit offline as well. So let us know what you guys think, and we'll try to accommodate.
yeah, I feel like that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, we can maybe try to do it every so often because I feel like it'd be a lot of fun to get involved that way as well. Game
Hey,
host Pappy is the best, Pappy. Thank you, Green Bones. Wow, Corey's wearing his Team Neat shirt. Let's
oh
go.
hell yeah! Shout out to Better Times. Hey, I'm gonna probably start streaming again on my own, so that'll make me get caught up to speed to make even these YouTube streams a little bit better. So
Yeah.
yeah, it could be a thing. And even if we stream outside of our podcast episodes, but I really enjoyed having more people present for the podcast itself. I think that added a different layer to it.
Yeah, definitely. Once a month would be dope. Yeah, I like that actually. I feel like that's pretty good feedback. And
Yeah.
we miss you too, Amanda. Thank you. It still fits.
Hell yeah, Corey. I don't know if mine do. I got that dad bod these days.
Well, we kind of, I know we're not going to say too much, but I know we talked a little bit about some single barrel sports merch that we're going to be working on maybe a couple months or so. So keep that in mind, peeps. We might be doing that if you're interested as well. So
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to give away too many hints tonight, but we've got some pretty big updates and news coming up over this summer, and including the launch of season 2 of the podcast. But that's all I'll say. We've got some things in the works. We're not going to be stuck in our ways forever. We're going to continue to grow this and to change it, and so hopefully that is exciting for other people other than just us. But
Yep.
the podcast will continue to take its own form over time, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, definitely. You want to do a little 2-minute warning segment?
I think so, and I'm not going to show the clock on the screen this time. I think I'll clock it on my phone here, and I'll time us if you're okay with that.
Yeah, that works.
And do you want to ask the first question, or should I? And
Yeah.
also, really quick, if you guys have never seen a live or a podcast episode, basically this is a series of questions in rapid fire where it's kind of like this or that, or would you rather. And I want to make sure that you guys are also comfortable answering our questions too, because these are fun questions. So feel free to type what you would answer. But Dee, when you're ready, go ahead. You can start it, and I'll start the clock.
All right, you ready?
I think so. I hope so.
All right, first question. Would you rather have your Madden opponent score a game-winning touchdown with a glitch play or lose a fantasy football championship because of a kneel down?
There's nothing more frustrating in life than losing a game to a fantasy football kneel down. So I would rather have some asshole cheat in a video game than for me to lose because somebody's winning the actual football game for their team and it causes me a loss in fantasy football. We're going to go with the glitch play.
Wow.
Would you rather run the stadium stairs with a hungover offensive lineman or take batting practice against a pitcher who thinks that it's game 7?
Ooh, well, I'm not a baseball player whatsoever. I only play fun baseball with my dog in the backyard, but I'd run the stadium stairs with some linemen. You know, I feel like that's kind of along the lines of my short coaching career so far.
And if they're hungover, you're not moving too fast, right?
Yeah, and they're big, so probably bigger than me. So. Would you rather have your controller die mid Super Bowl or accidentally unplug your co-host mic during a?
Oh, I don't want to lose a game, so I don't want my controller to die. Unplugging your mic every now and then might be nice. So I'll play it. I'm playing. Would you rather fumble the opening kickoff in the Super Bowl or airball 2 free throws in Game 7 of the Finals?
Probably the finals. I'd airball because if you fumble the opening kickoff, that's going to be all over social media. No one's going to remember too.
Plus, if you airball the second free throw, your team could rebound it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Would you rather get dunked on by a high schooler on TikTok or stiff-armed into the turf by a 12-year-old in flag?
I think I'd rather get dunked on by the high schooler because if a 12-year-old stiff-armed me, I might have some confidence issues.
Wow.
We're going to do one more here. We're close to 2 minutes, but we'll do it anyway. Would you rather have your mic'd up segment leak with you talking trash or with you singing Taylor Swift mid-game?
Probably talking trash because I feel like it'd be pretty funny. Maybe I'd go viral.
I would actually love to hear you talking trash in a competitive environment because I feel like you're never that aggressive. So that would actually be entertaining for me.
Oh, you have to ask some of my high school friends. They've witnessed it. So I'll tell you one quick story because I know we're at the time with the 2-minute warning. But we used to play this thing called community ed basketball. So it was like, I don't want to call it a church league, but it was basically just, you know what I mean? Like kind of like random teams. You'd practice one night a week. It wasn't like super serious. So we had a team and it was like a couple of us from our high school. And then most of the other people were from all sorts of different schools, but high school. And the one game I crossed this guy over, believe it or not, and he fell down. Like,
oh, you broke the ankles.
It was bad, dude. And I said, I literally looked at him and I said, because he kind of looked like a Jonas brother, and I was just like, eat shit, Jonas. Like, I don't know why. And then I got a technical. So
yeah, that seems tech worthy, but That is funny though. That honestly, I would have laughed at that quite a lot. Yeah,
Yeah, so that was a little bit of my trash talking.
I love it.
Oh
Well,
man.
I've never talked trash in my life, so we'll move past that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, no, I've been known.
Um,
I've been known, but we won't name examples because mine are usually a little bit more profane than yours are.
Well, Corey said batting practice. My ass isn't running stairs.
No, same, bro. Although I will say, running stairs with a hungover lineman is the best alternative to running stairs. I think.
It's okay, man. Everyone is taller than you, but you know what? Just you have the heart. That's all it takes.
Amanda is like hug size. It's perfect.
Exactly. Oh man.
Well, hey,
Well,
let's jump into the last call, Deep. What do you think?
yeah, I think it's time for the last call. Which, if any of you have seen this or haven't seen this, it's just like at the bar or restaurant where they got to kick you out because it's the last call. So, Scott, you want to start with the last call?
Yeah, I would just, I would like to say this was experimental tonight. We're constantly trying to do new things. We're very open-minded to shifting the podcast. So, thank you, especially for those who have attended live, but anyone who's listening at any point in time. Thanks for being a part of the journey. But this has been fun. It's been really cool to keep up with a live chat. It's been a while, like you said, Deeb, since I've done that too. Neither one of us have been streaming much lately or at all. And so it's been a lot of fun to see some old faces and to be able to just have a conversation outside of just the two of us. And I think maybe we'll find a way to incorporate this moving forward because, yeah, it has been fun and you guys have been very positive about it. So thanks for everyone who's been along this ride. We don't know what we're doing, but we're having fun and we'll just keep doing that.
Yeah, I echo those. And yeah, thanks for everybody for stopping by. See some familiar faces and names. So it's really great to hear from you all and know that you haven't forgotten about us and we haven't forgotten about you. We haven't been streaming, but we've been rocking around here and you guys are really awesome. So appreciate you. But yeah, just, experimental. I know next week we have a really exciting episode. We're going to do a special for the U.S. Open. So a couple of guests who have joined us in the past, both of them will be on for that. So if you're a golf fan or just interested in learning more, I know you've kind of been learning a lot this year. And actually, I've learned a lot as well from those episodes too, stuff that I didn't know. That's why we bring on guests because we don't know everything. But
Yeah.
looking forward to that. And then, yeah, some plans that we're going to probably be making some announcements about in the future. So stay tuned for that, and we'll let you know where we go from here.
Hell yeah. No matter what, we're moving forward. So deep cheers to you. Cheers to everyone here tonight and who's listening in the
Cheers.
future.
All right, man.
All right. We'll see you guys.